Did you think that was it? No, no, no. Get ready for some bonus material. We can make our menu system even better than it is. So let's get started. Okay, one of the problems with the menu system that we have at the moment is that if I'm a storekeeper, if I'm a person running the coffee shop and I'm using this system, every time I want to actually add something to the menu, I've got to change the code. That's not good. I'm a coffee store owner. I don't know how to program in Java, and I certainly don't want to have to make a call to my programmer that developed the system every time I want to change my menu. You know, I might serve different coffees in the winter. I might serve spiced lattes in the run up to Christmas, and I might serve iced coffees during the summer. So I don't want to have to change the code every time that happens, and I don't want to have to ring somebody up and get them in to change it either. So I need the flexibility to be able to do that myself without ever changing a line of code. Okay, and that's what we're going to do next. We're going to implement an inventory file system that will actually allow us to build the menu from a file. Okay, so this is the way we're going to do it. First of all, I'm going to run my program. So let's run javac. Let's compile it first. Javac menu-tree.java. Okay, let's run it. Menu-tree. So this is just exactly where we left off in the previous video. So here is my menu as it stands at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file that has the menu data in it. Okay, and it's just going to be a text file. It's going to be a very simple file, a file that anybody could open on their computer and edit very easily and save. And that inventory file is going to basically drive the whole menu system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. Okay, so I've got a blank file here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, let's make my text a little bit bigger. I'm going to copy this menu, stuff that's on the menu, just, you know, because it's there, it's text I can copy, save me typing it in, and I'm going to paste it into this file. Okay, so you can see here, it's just a standard text file. I'm going to get rid of the numbers. I don't need them. And I'm just going to keep the coffee names and the prices. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the coffee names and the prices with a comma. Ooh, not a full stop, a comma. Okay, so this file is going to be my inventory file. So me as a coffee store owner, I'm going to be able to go in and edit this file. Very simple file, it's just a text file. So there's not an awful lot that can go wrong. I can just go in and edit this whenever I want to change my menu system. Okay, we're going to have to change our code around a little bit, but that's the idea. So I'm going to save this file as a file called inventory.txt. You could call the file anything you want. I'm just going to call it inventory.txt. So I'm going to say file, save as, and I'm going to call it inventory.txt. Okay. Now that I have that file, and I've saved that file in the same folder as all my other files, okay, my menu and the keyboard file, they're all in the same folder, so it's going to be easy to find this file. I'm going to go back into my menu program. I'm going to have to make that text a little bit smaller. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create another method that's going to read that inventory file, and it's going to build my menu objects. Okay, because if you have a look at this at the moment, this is where the menu objects are being created, right, in the array list. Okay, so this is where these guys get created. I'm going to replace those lines of code with a call to a method that's going to read them in from a file. It's going to read them in from that inventory file. So rather than populating the array list with hard-coded calls like that, it's going to be read in from a file, and we're going to dynamically build the array list by reading it in from a file. Okay, and that will make our program much better. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is make this method. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically copy code that I've already written. So I'll put a link on screen now around here somewhere to my text file IO video, and I'm going to basically copy a lot of the text code that I need from the video, that text file IO video, and I'm going to just reuse it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. So let me see, can I open that file? File open, and I'm going to copy some of that in. Okay, where is that? Where is that? I'm going to have to find it first. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I have a method in here called readFile. Okay, so remember, go back and have a look at the text file IO video, link in the description below. I'm just going to copy a method out of there that I've covered already. Okay, and I'm going to put it into this menu file. Okay, so this was a method to read information from a text file. Okay, and we're going to manipulate this. We're going to change it around so we can use it in our program. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got this method called readFile. All right, and what that did was that took the name of a file, and it had an array list parameter as well. And in that last example, we just had like a file that was like a shopping list. It just contained like shopping list items like bread and milk and so on. But most of the code that's here we can reuse, and we can use it for our purposes. What we want to do is we want to read in the menu items from the inventory file, right? So if we just go back and have a look at the inventory file for a minute, basically like each line in this inventory file is a menu item, right? So you've got cappuccino there, and if you have a look over here, that's that line in the menu. Okay, and each of those lines in the menu are menu item objects, so everything is connected here. Okay, let's go back to our menu. So I've copied in this read file method from my text file IO video, and I'm going to change the name of the method. First of all, I'm going to call it readInventoryFile, and I am going to leave the first parameter the same. That's going to be the file name that we want to read in. The second parameter I'm going to change, because it's not an array list of strings, it's an array list of menu item. So menu item, I'm going to change that. I'm not going to call the parameter data, I'm going to call that items, because I'm just keeping it the same as the other methods that I've done. Okay, I'm going to need a file reader object. I'm going to need a buffered reader object because I want to read the file line by line. I'm going to need a string to represent each line in the file, and then I have this loop here. Okay, so you can see this loop is looping around and reading the file line by line until it reaches the end of the file. And then I have in the loop body, what I had before was I was just adding each string to an array list. Okay, I'm going to do something similar here. Definitely want to do something similar, but what I'm going to do is, instead of that line of code, I'm going to have to split the line that I read in into the name part and the price part. Okay, because in the file, I'll put a little comment in here so that we can kind of see it as we go along. What does a line in the file look like? Well, let's go back into our inventory file. Let's just copy the first line. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put it in here just so we can kind of remember what the file looks like. the first piece of data on each line is going to be the name of the coffee, the name of the menu item, and then there's a comma, and then there is the price. Now this type of file where we have pieces of data that are separated by commas is called a comma separated file. Very common way to store data in a text file. Okay, so what I want to do is this piece of data here is going to basically be each line in the file. So this line variable here, when I read it in, it's going to be this. It's going to be cappuccino, comma, price, or Americano, comma, price, or whatever. So what I want to do is I want to separate out those two pieces of data. How am I going to do that? Well, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a technique for splitting the string. Okay, I'm going to say string tokens. Okay, and this is going to be an array of strings, right? So bear with me. I'm going to have an array of strings called tokens, and that's going to be equal to line dot split, and I'm going to split the line with a special character. I'm going to be able to split it with a comma. Okay, so this split method is a method that's part of the string class in Java. And if you've got a string that contains separate pieces of data, as we have here, separated by a comma, the split method will allow us to specify a special character, the comma in our case, and it will give us back an array of strings with all the different bits in there. Okay, so for example, like after we make that call, this array tokens, like tokens 0 would be cappuccino, right? Token 0 is going to be the string cappuccino, and tokens 1 is going to be equal to the price, which would be $2.50, right? That's what that array would look like when we split the string. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Now, I don't need that code there. I'm just kind of trying to illustrate to you. So when we read in the line, we're going to split it up into tokens. Okay, so the first token, what I'm going to do is, just to keep things simple, I'm going to say string name, that's going to be equal to the first token. So that's going to be tokens 0. All right. Now, the next thing that I need to do is this next token, this next piece of the data is a string. Okay, it's $2.50, but it's a string. Well, I need to convert that into a double. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say double price equals, and I'm going to use the Java inbuilt class called double. It'd be helpful if I spell it right. And then that double class has a method called parse double, and that method takes a string and it tries to convert it into a double. So the string that I'm going to give this is tokens 1. All right, so I'm gonna our strings are going to be split into two tokens. Token 0 is the name of the item and the second token is the price. Okay, so I'm storing the name from the first token, so name is equal to token 0, and then price is going to be convert the tokens 1, which is the price, into a double and store it in this price variable. So there's a little bit going on there. First of all, I've got to split the string. That gives me two other strings. One of them is fine because it's a string anyway, but the second one, I need to change that, and I need to convert that from a string into a double. And I use this double class as part of Java, and it has a method called parse double that's going to take a string and it gives me back a double. Okay, so now that I have that, what do I need to do? Well, now that I have that, I now have the pieces of information that I need to make a menu item object. So I'm going to basically just add a new menu item object to my items array. So this items array, I'm going to pass over this items array to this readInventoryFile method. It's going to loop through the file. It's going to pull out the pieces of information that I want. And the very last thing that's going to happen inside the loop body here is that I'm going to say items.add, and I want to add this new menu item into my array list. So I'm going to say MenuItems.add. Okay, now look at how I'm doing it here. I'm saying .add, and then I'm saying new menu item. But all of this is hard coded, like the name of the item, the price, and so on. All of this information is hard coded. It's not going to be hard coded anymore because I have stripped that information out of the file. Okay, and now what I want to do is create a new menu item. The first parameter that the menu item takes is the name. So where have I got that? Well, that was taken from token 0 and stored in this variable name. So I'm going to put name in as the first parameter. And then the price is the second parameter for the menu item constructor. And again, I took that from the file in token 1, converted it to a double, and now that's stored in my variable here, price. So I'm going to pass over price. Oh, need to spell it right. Price, and now that's gonna create a new menu item object with the information from the file, and it's going to add it to my array list. Okay, so this loop that's going to loop around the file, the inventory file, each line in the inventory file is going to create a new menu item object, and it's going to add it to my array list. Okay, so what I can do now is all of this code that I had hard coded in my program, I can get rid of it. It's gone. I don't need to hard code any items because all I need to do is I need to read inventory.text and create menu items. How do I do that? Well, I make a call to my readInventoryFile method. So actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Save me a bit of time. I'm actually just going to copy that down here. So when I create this array list here in the main method, it's going to be empty, right? It just creates an array list. Rather than hard code it, rather than populate the menu items by writing code, I'm going to read them from the file. And that's just really making a call to this readInventoryFile. The name of the file, the first parameter, well, that's going to be inventory. Oh, I need to put it in quotes, don't I? It's going to be inventory.text. And the array list that I need to pass over, the array list that's going to get populated from the data in the file, is my menu items array. So I need to pass that over there. Okay, don't need that bracket there, but I do need a semicolon at the end of that line. And that's pretty much it. This method will take my array list and the name of the file. It will loop through the file and it will populate my array list with the data from the file. Okay, there's a little bit that needs to be done here with splitting and doing a little bit of conversion as well. But we've actually covered all that stuff before. In fact, the double.parse double, we actually covered that as part of the keyboard class. So again, I'll link it up here, or it'll be down in the comments below. So that's pretty much it. Now, what I do need to do, I'm using some Java file IO classes here. So I need to go back up and I need to import java.io. And I'll just import everything from the IO package. I'll be a bit lazy here. Sorry about that. And I'll just import everything here. Okay, java.io. All right. So let's try that. Let's see, does it work? So we've replaced our hard-coded menu items, and we're now going to try and read them in from a file. Okay, and I've got my inventory file here set up. It's in the same folder, it's saved. I'm going to save my code here, and let's go back out to our menu and let's clear our terminal window and recompile javac menu tree.java. Fingers crossed, hope it compiles. Yes, no errors to fix. Okay, Java menu tree. Now if I run this and a menu appears, it's worked. Yes. Okay, so look, here's our menu, right? All of that part of the menu has been taken from the inventory file. Let's look at the inventory file. There you go, look, inventory file. Menu matches inventory file. Look, it's got cappuccino, latte, the prices are all correct. Everything's been read from the inventory file. If I select one of them over here, so let's select a cappuccino, for example, you can see everything's still working. Here's your cappuccino worth whatever. Let's pick another one. Let's just pick flat white, for example, and again you can see that it's working. Here is your flat white worth 275. Let's just check to see, is the exit option working still? So that's 6. I press 6 and again we get our little goodbye message and everything is working. Okay, now I'm going to prove to you that this works because I'm not going to change a single line of code. We're here in the inventory file, okay, in the inventory file, and all I'm going to do is change the inventory file and then run the program. No code changes, no nothing, right? So I'm going to add some more stuff in here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a double espresso. Okay, so double espresso, and I'm going to make that 275. Okay, and then I'm going to add one in at the end here. I'm going to call it an iced flat white. I don't know, is there a coffee called iced flat white? I'm not too sure. And again, I'm going to give it a price and I'm going to say that that's €4. Okay, so I've added 2 new items into the inventory file: double espresso, iced flat white. Save the inventory file. Right, I haven't changed any code. I'm going to go back over to my terminal window and I'm not going to recompile the program or do anything. I'm just going to run it again. Java, actually let's clear the window. That's what I'll do. I'll clear the window and let's run it. Java menu tree. And now you see we've got a new menu. Look, I didn't have to change any code. We've got our new item, double espresso. We've got a new item called iced flat white. We've got now an exit option with exit 8. Let's see these items work. Double espresso 4. There we go. Here's your double espresso worth 275. Let's check to see does iced flat white work. 7. Okay, here's your iced flat white worth €4. Let's check to see does our exit option work. 8. Yes, it works. Okay, so you can see by just changing the inventory file and rerunning the program, we've now got a completely flexible menu system. Okay, now what about this? We've just got some formatting issues here in the menu because some of these menu items are longer names than the others, and I think we were using a tab character to display the menu. Okay, so we can fix that. We can make this a little bit better by using padding rather than a tab character. Okay, so I'll fix that up in the display. So let's go back here to our menu program. Let's go back to the display and let's see how we can fix this. Okay, so in the display, what you'll see here is this system out. Okay, and I'm using a tab character. So the tab character is a bit of a blunt instrument, really. Where the words are bigger, you can see that, you know, it's still pushing out a tab character, but then that pushes the price over too far. So rather than using a tab character, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some padding in. So I'm going to get rid of the tab character. So you'll have a look at what I'm doing here. And I'm going to get rid of the tab character. And then where I print the name of the menu item, this %s, this format specifier for a string, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some padding in here. So what it's going to do is it's going to print the name of the menu item, and it's going to use a fixed amount of characters to do that, so that it will pad out, and then my price will be next. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say %, and then I'm going to say -20 should be enough. 20 characters should be enough. Each item is no more than 20 characters, but you could change this around, maybe, I don't know, 25. Let's say 25 characters should be more than enough. So what the -25 does is it's going to print the name of the item. It's going to left justify the name of the item and pad out 20. If I took away the minus and I had 25, it would push the text out to right justification and pad to the left 20. Okay, but I need that -25 in there to put it on the right side. Put the text on the left justified, and pad out to the right. So -25 should do it, and I'm going to save that. And this time I do need to recompile my program. So let's clear that and say javac menu tree.java menu tree, and I'm typing in menu2. That would have been a disaster. Okay, javac menu tree.java, and then I'm going to run it. Menu tree, and there we go. Look at that nice, neat, justified text there, and you can see the prices are all nicely aligned. Okay, so tabs aren't going to allow you to align by column, but this padding mechanism will work, and that's another little extra bonus feature in this video. So okay, now we have a menu system that we can be proud of. I think we have, in terms of the code, we've got everything modularized. We've used methods, we've used classes, we have used an array list of objects. We've really tidied up the code, and now we've got the ability to change the menu system without ever changing a line of code. All we have to do is go into our inventory file and change the items in the inventory file. I can even add another item in here. For example, maybe it's the summer and we want a new item on the menu. I'm going to put in, say, something like summer punch or something like that. Okay, it's not a coffee, but anyway, you get the idea. Summer punch, and we'll save that and exit out of our program over here, and we just run the program again, and now you see our menu system has changed again, all without changing the line of code, and everything works just the same as it would normally. Okay, so again, I hope you like this bonus material. It really makes our menu system much more flexible. Again, if you liked this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make some comments below if you think this was useful. Hit the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up. Do all that wonderful YouTube stuff that you do when you watch YouTube videos like this. And once again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the channel, and I'll see you next time.